Hi, thank you for watching Digging to China. I'm Dong Xiang. As the coronavirus spread across the globe, so too did speculation about its origins. The rumors began almost as soon as the disease itself. Claims that a foreign adversary had unleashed a bioweapon emerged at the fringe of Chinese social media the same day China first reported the outbreak of a mysterious virus. From Beijing and Washington to Moscow and Tehran, political leaders and allied media effectively functioned as super spreaders, using their stature to amplify politically expedient conspiracies already in circulation. But it was China, not Russia, that took the lead in spreading foreign disinformation about COVID-19's origins, as it came under attack for its early handling of the outbreak. A 9-month Associated Press investigation of state-sponsored disinformation conducted in collaboration with the Atlantic Council's Digital Forensic Research Lab shows how a rumor that the U.S. created a virus that causes COVID-19 was weaponized by the Chinese government, spreading from the dark corners of the internet to millions across the globe. The analysis was based on a review of millions of social media postings and articles on Twitter, Facebook, VK, Weibo, WeChat, YouTube, Telegram, and other platforms. The battle to control the narrative about where the virus came from has had global consequences in the fight against COVID-19. By March, just 3 months after COVID-19 appeared in central China, belief that the virus had been created in a lab and possibly weaponized was widespread, multiple surveys showed. The Pew Research Center found, for example, that 1 in 3 Americans believed the new coronavirus had been created in a lab. 1 in 4 thought it had been engineered intentionally. In Iran, top leaders cited the bioweapon conspiracy to justify their refusal of foreign medical aid. On January 26, 2020, a man from Inner Mongolia posted a video claiming that the new virus ravaging central China was a biological weapon engineered by the US. It was viewed 14,000 times on the Chinese app Kuaishou before being taken down. The man was arrested, detained for 10 days, and fined for spreading rumors. People's Daily, the Chinese Communist Party's mouthpiece, broadcast the news of his detention in early February, showing the man, face pixelated, wrists shackled, and legs caged in a chair. It was a stern reminder to the citizens of China that fake news can lead to arrest and a part of a broader effort by Chinese state media to debunk COVID-19 conspiracies. But just 6 weeks later, the same conspiracy would be broadcast by China's foreign ministry, picked up by at least 30 Chinese diplomats and missions, and amplified through China's vast global network of state media outlets. During those 6 weeks, China's leadership came under intense internal criticism. On February 7, 2020, Li Wenliang, a Chinese doctor punished for circulating an early warning about the outbreak, died of COVID-19. The outpouring of grief and rage sparked by Li's death was an unusual and, for the ruling Communist Party, unsettling display in China's tightly monitored civic space. China went on the offensive. On February 22nd, People's Daily ran a report highlighting speculation that the U.S. military brought the virus to China, pushing the story globally through inserts in newspapers such as the Helsinki Times in Finland and the New Zealand Herald. The New Zealand Herald said it has an ad hoc commercial relationship with People's Daily, labels their content as sponsored, and review it before publication. Upon further review of the story that you have referred to, we have removed this particular item from our website, a spokesman said in an email. The Helsinki Times said it has a barter exchange content agreement with People's Daily, whose content it labels but does not vet. We believe that the Western media coverage is at times extremely one-sided and biased, said Alexis Kouros, the editor of the Helsinki Times. Even though People's Daily is state-owned like the BBC, we believe it is beneficial for the global audience to have both sides of stories. As China embraced overt disinformation, it leaned on Russian disinformation strategy and infrastructure, turning to a long-established network of Kremlin proxies in the West to seed and spread messaging. Janice Saltz, director of NATO's Strategic Communications Center of Excellence, said, quote, "One was amplifying the other. How much it was command-controlled, how much it was opportunistic, it was hard to tell. China is the more formidable competitor and adversary because of the technological capabilities they bring to the table." Unquote. In January last year, long before China began overtly spreading disinformation, Russian state media swept in to legitimize the theory that the US engineered the virus as a weapon. On January 20, 2020, the Russian army's media outlet Zvezda announced that the outbreak in China was linked to a bioweapons test, citing a 4-time failed political candidate named Igor Nikulin. Nikulin claims to have worked with the United Nations on disarmament in Iraq from 1998 to 2003, including as an advisor to former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. But the UN has no record of his service. Richard Butler, the lead UN weapons inspector at the time, told AP he's never heard of him. Neither has Hans Corell, who served as Undersecretary General for Legal Affairs and Legal Counsels of the United Nations from 1994 to 2004, where he worked closely with Annan. Nikulin said, records of his UN work may have been destroyed in an American bombing during the Iraq invasion. Nikulin argues the US created the virus and used it to attack China. He first voiced a belief in a January 20 story by Zvezda, a state media outlet tied to the Russian military. He appeared on Russian state TV at least 18 times between January 27 and late April of that year. Once the virus reached the US, Nikulin changed his theory, saying globalists were using the virus to depopulate the Earth. On January 23, 2020, Beijing began to roll out the largest medical quarantine in modern history, sealing tens of millions of people at the epicenter of the outbreak in central China. The images were harrowing as people desperate to slip out thronged the train stations. Shortly after 11 a.m. the next morning, Francis Boyle, a Harvard-trained law professor at the University of Illinois, emailed a worldwide alert to 300 contacts warning, without evidence, that China had been developing the coronavirus as a bioweapon at a biosafety lab in Wuhan. Over the next few weeks, Boyle refined his theory, now asserting that Chinese scientists had not developed the virus themselves, but taken it from a North Carolina laboratory. Boyle told AP his conclusions are based on research and that he can't stop conspiracy theorists or foreign governments from using his claims for their own ends. "My job is to tell the truth as I see it," he said. On March 9th, a public WeChat account called Happy Reading List reposted an essay claiming the US military created SARS-CoV-2, the virus that caused COVID-19, at a lab at Fort Detrick in Maryland, and loosed it in China during the Military World Games, an international competition for military athletes held in Wuhan in October 2019. The account, which has been suspended, was registered in May 2019 by a woman from Henan province in central China, who did not reply to messages. It's not clear who first wrote the article, which can still be found on other WeChat accounts. The The next day, an anonymous petition appeared on the White House's now defunct We the People portal. It urged U.S. authorities to clarify whether the virus had been developed at Fort Detrick and leaked from the lab. The petition was lavishly covered by China's state media despite getting only 1,426 signatures, far shy of the 100,000 needed to merit a response from the White House. On March 11, Larry Romanoff, who claims to be a former management consultant based in Shanghai, posted an article on Global Research Canada that cribbed heavily from the Happy Reading List posting, citing it as a source. The day of Romanoff's article, the World Health Organization officially designated COVID-19 outbreak a pandemic. Zhao Lijian, a spokesman for China's foreign ministry, spent part of the next afternoon retweeting cute dog videos. Then, late that night, he sent out a series of tweets over 13 minutes that launched what may be China's first truly global digital experiment with overt disinformation. Zhao's tweet read, quote, "When did patient zero begin in US? How many people are infected? What are the names of the hospitals? It might be US Army who brought the epidemic to Wuhan. Be transparent. Make public your data. US owe us an explanation." Unquote. The next morning, Zhao urged his hundreds of thousands of Twitter followers to read and retweet Romanoff's piece. An hour and a half later, he gave Global Research another boost, referring his followers to an earlier Romanoff article that cited Chinese state media reporting to cast doubt on the origins of the virus. Twitter later added a fact-check warning to Zhao's tweet about the US Army, but only in English. An identical post in Mandarin carried no such alert. Twitter also put a fact-checking label on only one of Zhao's two reposts of Global Research content. Zhao's tweets were now global news, and they hijacked the mainstream discussion of the coronavirus. On Twitter alone, Zhao's aggressive spray of 11 tweets on March 12 and 13 was cited over 99,000 times over the next 6 weeks, in at least 54 languages, according to analysis conducted by DFR Lab. The accounts that referenced him had nearly 275 million followers on Twitter, a number that almost certainly includes duplicate followers and does not distinguish fake accounts. Influential conservatives on Twitter, including Donald Trump Jr., hammered Zhao, propelling his tweets to their largest audience. China's Global Times and at least 30 Chinese diplomatic accounts from Francis to Panama rushed in to support Zhao. Venezuela's foreign minister and RT's correspondent in Caracas, as well as Saudi accounts close to the kingdom's royal family, also significantly extended Zhao's reach, helping launch his ideas into Spanish and Arabic. His accusations got uncritical treatment in Russian and Iranian state media and shot back through QAnon discussion boards. But his biggest audience by far lay within China itself, despite the fact that Twitter is banned there. Popular hashtags about his tweet storm were viewed 314 million times on the Chinese social media platform Weibo, which does not distinguish unique views. Late on the night of March 13, Zhao posted a message of gratitude on his personal Weibo. "Thank you for your support to me. Let us work hard for the motherland." 10 days after Zhao's first conspiratorial tweets, China's global state media apparatus kicked in to push the theory that Zhao and now Khomeini were broadcasting. Did the US government intentionally conceal the reality of COVID-19 with the flu? Asked a suggestive op-ed in Mandarin published by China Radio International on March 22nd. Why was the US Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Disease at Fort Detrick in Maryland, the largest biochemical testing base, shut down in July 2019? Within days, versions of the piece appeared more than 350 times in Chinese state outlets, mostly in Mandarin, but also around the world in English, French, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, and Arabic, AP found. The story flew across China through social media accounts run by police, prosecutors, propaganda departments, anti-cult associations, and communist youth leagues. 7 prisons in Sichuan province, 5 provincial and municipal traffic radio stations, and a dozen accounts run by state media giant CCTV also pushed it out. China's embassy in France promoted the story on Twitter and Facebook. It appeared on YouTube, Weibo, WeChat, and a host of Chinese video platforms including Haokan, Xigua, Baijiahao, Bilibili, iQIYI, Kuaishou, and Youku. A 7-second version set to driving music appeared on Douyin, the Chinese version of TikTok. AP found the story was viewed over 7 million times online with more than 1.8 million comments, shared, or reactions. Those numbers are undercount because many platforms did not publish metrics, and they don't account for television viewership or circulation in closed groups. Accounts promoting the content had a combined total of over 870 million followers, though many are likely to be duplicates or fakes. Conspiracies brewing in the United States reinforced China's messaging. In late March, George Webb, a for-profit conspiracy theorist in Washington, D.C., doxed a U.S. Army reservist as Patient Zero, claiming on YouTube that she brought the virus from Fort Detrick to Wuhan during the October military games. Webb's video circulated widely in China and was picked up by state-run Global Times. The falsely accused woman got death threats and Webb's video was pulled from YouTube, but it's still live in China on Weibo, where it has accrued millions of views. In April, Russia and Iran largely dropped the bioweapon conspiracy in their overt messaging. They had a more pressing concern: surging numbers of dead. But China carried on. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I will see you again shortly.